As the deer pants for the water brooks, so pants my soul for you, O God. My soul thirsts for God, for the living God. When shall I come and appear before God? My tears have been my food day and night, while they continually say to me, where is your God? Psalm 42 verses 1 to 3. This week for me has been rather an intense week, like many weeks really are, come to think of it, but maybe this week particularly so. It started on Sunday with Hannah having to have a general anaesthetic because she needed to have a gastroscopy, a little procedure to check why she's been having some pain in her stomach. So this procedure came with a lot of anxiety for Hannah, for me, for Colin. And it all went smoothly, but still there were a lot of strong emotions attached to it. And then the thing with this week, it's been a question of running from one thing to another thing to another thing without having a moment to really sit down and think through each individual thing. Today has been the first morning that I've had just to sit down, just to think through and reflect upon the week. And I've needed this time. In fact, 2 days ago when I was on the phone to Hannah's kindergarten teacher and she told me that Hannah wasn't able to come into kindergarten because she had a little infection in her eye, I burst into tears on the phone with the teacher and was a little bit embarrassed about that, but the teacher was very understanding. But at that point I realised, yes, what I just need time. I need time just to gather myself and reflect and have a few moments without any child saying mummy, mummy, without anyone making any demands on me. And thankfully I've got that this morning. So what I did this morning, I knew I needed to come before God because I had this sense of heaviness in me, which I get when I know I need to connect with God again. And so I just simply sat down with God and started going over the week. I just went through with him talking about each day and all of the things that were scary, all the things that were sad, all the things that were stressful, all the things that were happy, all of the successes, all the things I was excited about. I just simply went through each thing that was contributing a different emotion to the emotional swirl that I had going on in my head. And then after pouring it all out to him, I just got this word. He just dropped a word into my spirit that suddenly made sense of how I was feeling. And he said to me, "You're lonely." And it then just dawned on me that even if we're in loving marriages, we have supportive friends, we have communities around us, those things are so important. But the truth is that the journey that we are all walking on, our individual journeys with all of the things that we have to do each day, with our own individual personalities, strengths, weaknesses, tasks to complete, jobs, roles, the journeys that we have are individual to us. No one else is walking exactly the same journey that we are. We connect with other people at points along the journey. We have shared responsibilities. We connect together with our husbands and wives on raising the children, on running the house, on many, many different things. But ultimately, the journeys that we're on are ones that are unique to us. And so I think that this deep down sense of loneliness is one that probably each and every one of us shares. Many of us may not be aware of it because we're so busy we never stop to think. We never stop to really experience it. Some of us might be deeply aware of it because we are literally living by ourselves and don't have anyone day to day in our lives to share with. So some of us may be acutely aware of it and some of us may not be so much. But I actually think that loneliness is a common shared human experience. And the truth is that the only one who is really with us in the minute details of our everyday lives is God. And he's the only one who really sees all those hidden tears, who senses every trembling of our hands, who knows every smile before it's born, who understands every fight, every victory that we secure, who's rejoicing with us, who's with us with every disappointment. The only one who's with us in that level of intimacy is our Father in heaven. And our souls are designed to connect with God in the deepest, most intimate places. I'm so thankful that over the last year, God has shown me how to connect with him in that way, because I always used to just come to God, and rather than connecting with him in my prayers, I was actually pushing him away with my prayers. I was declaring that I was happy. And I'm not mocking any of these sorts of prayers. Every sort of prayer has its own value, its own place. But I'm just saying that I know how it has been for me in the past, is how I've recited scriptures, how I've cast out my fear, how I've reprimanded my anxieties. And all of these things have stopped me from just telling God how I feel and just letting God tell me how he feels about me. So when God gave me this morning Psalm 42, and he said to me, you can tell me you're sad. He said to me, the psalmist said they were sad. My tears have been my food day and night. It's okay just to come before God and say, God, I felt really sad about this. God, I feel really angry about this. God, I feel really scared about this. It's okay just to come to God and just talk him through. Just say to him exactly how we're feeling. In fact, we need to. We're encouraged to come to God just in that simple level of, God, my tears have been my food day and night. This is how it is. And then he comes to us and meets us in that place, and he drops a word. Like when he gave that word to me, when I heard God say, the problem is you're lonely, suddenly I wasn't talking to myself. I wasn't talking to a wall. I was talking to a living, breathing God who was listening to me, who was making sense of my emotional muddle, who was speaking words that helped me to understand. There was another person in my life who I could pour everything else out to, who understood me and loved me and listened to me and was responding to me. And I didn't feel lonely anymore. And I know this is the experience. This is why the psalmist, why his soul was panting for God. Think about that intensity of yearning. It's because he knew that he had to connect on that deeper level. He had to be understood and heard and listened to. He had to meet with another person that was beyond the meeting that any other human can give us. He had to meet with the living God. And I'm thankful that God met me this morning. And when he spoke that word, I knew it was a word that wasn't just meant for me. So I just encourage you to come, be real before God, tell him all of the details of how you're feeling, and let him answer you. Let him meet with you in that deep, intimate, precious place. God bless you.